everybody. Today I have Arunima with me, the very talented, very dynamic. I think Arunima, you started your journey with Naukri.com, and from there you moved on to Baby OA, and then you co-founded, and then finally Shvasa. I mean, it's been a long journey, so let's hear it from you. How the journey been so far?
Yeah, so I was really just a kid when I joined Naukri.com. I was an assistant manager. I was fresh out of MBA school. And I was one of the first employees in their Bombay office. And there was no Google then. You have to understand that it was that way back in the internet. And it was a fantastic experience. I was there for 10 full years. I mean, I don't think people stay in companies for so long. But I got ample growth. It was amazing people, brilliant people in fact. And, we saw an IPO and then we saw real success. I mean, it was the first .com in India that really did very, very well and it was profitable. So I became a new mum in Naukri after 10 years and I used to live in GK. I used to live in Noida and go to GK to buy diapers.
Okay.
So the whole baby product market was very, very disorganized. There were just some wholesalers who used to get from China and distribute it in India, and that was not the right. I mean, as Indians, as Indian mothers, I didn't think that products were available. And again, that time Flipkart was just about setting up, and so me and my husband, who was my co-founder, we launched babyoa.com. We got close to $20 million of funding by Axel and Tiger Global, and eventually after 6 years we sold the company to the Mahindra Group because they also had a chain of baby stores across India. It was called Mom and Me.
Right.
And we were pretty sure, seeing the economics, the unit economics of the baby business, in fact, that, it has to be an offline come online play, which has been proven now. And Mahindra actually did a dipstick and saw that Baby Oil was the stronger brand, so they changed the name of all the stores to Baby Oil by Mahindra. So which was very heartening for us as founders. So I stayed with them for a year. And, ever since I've been on a very deep journey on my own to do with yoga. And there's been a lot of learning, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of trying to understand what it really is. And when the pandemic hit right now, and when I saw classes go online, I saw that a lot of the people, not everybody came online to learn yoga, but from the people who came, they just went forward so fast because there was no distractions, so it's an inward journey, right? And so then a couple of investors got in touch with me saying that why don't you look at what is happening across the world in yoga. The real pandemic is mental health actually, because the number of people depressed, anxiety, depression is very, very high right now. So, and when I looked at how yoga is practiced globally, I felt that, people were trying to learn what they could on YouTube. And me, I have done TTC from a studio, and I was misinformed about so many facts. Imagine now without a teacher, or if you're just trying to learn from YouTube, you will do it for a few days, years, but you will not go ahead from where you are. And for me, the real difference in yoga, because doing handstands and all those difficult poses was the easy part of yoga. The more difficult part of yoga for me was getting to understand why do I behave the way I behave. So that really came to me by reading the Bhagavad Gita and actually the Bhagavatam and the many other scriptures which actually they're like a guide. How should you live life? And from then after that, when I started meditating, then everything changed. So I used to try meditation before I did yoga as well, but that was, for 10 minutes you're great. So it was like watching a James Bond movie, because that is also meditation, right? That is also concentration. You have your thought on one plot for 2 hours, but that doesn't change your life. If you really want to change and become happier and calmer a little in life, you got to do some work. because we've lived for so long, and the environment, our parents, our upbringing, our school, everything has impacted our thought process. So how do you really understand why are you behaving negatively, and then cure that? So then things become just so much more easier. So what changes is not the universe but you. And because your energy changes, what you attract is a completely different energy. So suddenly, it's this whole process of understanding yourself. It starts with the yoga asanas. It starts from there, and I'm quite sure it starts from there. And then it's about your breath, then it's about your mind, then it's about your intelligence, and then it is about dropping that. So, and what I've seen is that India has just so much of centuries of compounded knowledge, but it's not there anywhere. It will be with some gurus in some ashrams. But if you look at the internet world, there is just no information. It's very scattered, it's very disorganized. It's, nobody, at least in India, there's nobody who's actually tried to put anything online. And even the companies which are being set up right now are emulating what the West is doing. So they're putting on-demand content. So I will record a class and I'll put it. But if I'm recording a class and if you're just doing it, Rima, how will you know what you're doing is right or wrong? So here in Shvasa, we're getting the teacher. So we are saying that, you do recorded content if you want, but you do these couple of classes with a teacher, because only a teacher can tell you what is right, what you're doing is right or wrong, and only a teacher can motivate you. So which is why we built Shvasa, to get real yoga from the teacher to the student. And the student doesn't need the teacher forever. It's just a matter of a couple of years, and then the student surpasses the teacher, which is also great, and I mean, that's the biggest thing for a teacher. The student really becomes much, much better than the teacher. So this is why we started Shvasa. We wanted to give everybody, a taste of real yoga. And it is not just about asanas, because you can be with a teacher and do asanas, but it's really how you live life beyond the mat. So it's not about those 2 hours a week or 3 hours a week that you spend on the mat, but after that, when you can keep doing yoga, but if you go back home and you have a great fight and you scream at your kid, then it's not really yoga, right? So how do you understand that? I'm not saying you'll not still do it, but how do you understand it and then over time get over some of these tendencies? So this is basically, we're going to get a lot of content in terms of videos about, about how to deal with anxiety, stress, truths about life, pranayam. You need not even know about knowledge, but if you just breathe and you be with yourself for those 5 minutes every day, it makes a huge difference to your energy. And then again, everything changes. So, there are various formats of yoga, and we are basically looking at the person and what will suit the person. So it's personalized, it's with a teacher, and that's what we're going to get to the world.
This is very inspiring. I mean, we've come across a lot of, these organization institutions, but I think this is one of a kind, approach where you're getting deep inside what yoga is. I mean, in layman's word, we hardly know what it is, right? It's just about watching a YouTube video or, doing what somebody's doing.
So that's also great. At least you watch that YouTube video and know. So, like for example, if you watch a YouTube video and they do this crazy handstand, then from the handstand, they'll bend their legs behind and they'll do a scorpion in a handstand. It's not easy. It takes at least 10 to 15 years of practice to reach that. So, but when you go to your yoga class and when you attempt it and you see that you've done even, say, 2% of that, it gets you the biggest quality a human can have, which is called fearlessness. So it is not about the asana, it is about the quality that you are inculcating within your inner self. Otherwise a lot of people are just so scared. No, I can't do a headstand. The neck is never going to snap when you do a headstand. It's just that you are very, very scared of it. So fearlessness is in fact in the Bhagavad Gita, it is the first divine quality mentioned. So asanas definitely get that. So, so it's about looking beyond what you are seeing.
Absolutely.
That,
And I think what is even more commendable is the fact that you said that once you're doing the yoga, it's not just embedded within those mats, right? I mean, how do you go back and practice the same thing with your family, your children, so that the same energy is kind of transmitted to everybody? I think that's very important.
Yeah, and it's very tough. It's very tough, to actually question yourself that, we all know when we do something wrong, right? But you try to hide it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yoga just gets you, when you do pranayam, when you read certain things, it's okay. So what if you reacted? Sorry, bol do. Just say sorry. A big deal. It's not such a big thing, But our ego is like, oh, why should I say sorry?
Right.
What will happen? Nothing is going to happen, So it's just about understanding that and living that. So that there is no regret, there is no, life has to be very light and fun. It shouldn't be full of regrets. Okay, why did that person say this? Why am I saying this? We should not have all these thoughts at all.
Yeah. So since your entire, this process looks so comprehensive, does your teacher also go through like a set of trainings before they actually start?
Yes, 100%. So for our teachers, even teachers, some teachers are very good at something, some teachers are very good at another part of yoga. So we so the way we have done it, that our live asana classes are different, our meditation classes are different, our yoga philosophy, for whoever's interested. Not everybody wants, maybe you just want yoga for a great workout. That's great, but you don't know how it's working on your central nervous system. So in 6 months, that also changes, So whatever people need, we have packaged it in that way, and we've trained teachers to come forth with their strongest points and teach that. Because yoga is very vast. I may be a great asana teacher, but I may not be a great meditation teacher. But there are very good meditation teachers. So whoever, whatever helps people benefit, that is basically what we are trying to get forward in yoga.
Okay. It's amazing. Okay, like a lot of us don't know what really yoga is, right? I mean, like you just said, like most of our knowledge is just derived from watching TV or some asana channel or just YouTube. So, I mean, what is basically the science behind yoga, and how long have you been practicing it?
So, I had been introduced to yoga as a kid, but I never really practiced it. I was always an athlete, and I really liked the more, sports form of fitness, etc. But but I have been introduced. My dad has been doing yoga since he was 7 years old, and he's been meditating. So I used to see it at home, but not really do. I always had this spiritual bent of mine. So I would have gone for an advanced meditation course when I was like 18 years old, but not really seriously. So I really started practicing every day only post baby oil. So that was 6 years back. And I did a teacher's training immediately just to understand what it is, that kind of a thing. So I've been teaching yoga and practicing yoga for the last 6 years now, that much, So I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, and I asked you, what is basically the science behind yoga?
So the science behind yoga is very simple. People have made it so complex and made it so, it's not religious. I am a very, I'm a bhakti yogi, but that doesn't really mean that I can put my thought on somebody else, right? So when you look at the most purest form of yoga, it was brought forward by sage Patanjali 5,000 years ago. First yoga was practiced only in caves by people, not householders like us. So what sage Patanjali did is he just broke it down into 8 limbs, and he did it beautifully. So he started that if you want to really be calm in life, if you want to be happy, and you've got this body, because this body is capable of so much. And the body consists of your mind also, So this whole, it's an instrument that you have got, that your soul has got. Now it starts with, yam, niyam, ethics, discipline. Then comes posture. Then comes breath work. pranayam, then comes pratyahar. Once you do the first 4-5 steps, you withdraw anyways, because all that, withdrawal means that if there are so many social media posts, do you need to really react to it? You should just come to my MBA WhatsApp group and you see what happens there. People have gone crazy just reacting, saying, no, you are right, you are wrong, I'm right. It's so unnecessary. So do you want to put your mind on that, or do you want to put your mind on how you can move forward? So from pratyahar, then from pratyahar comes dharna. So you leave out any one intention in the world and it will come true. You can't leave two. It has to be one at a time. So dharna is that concentration, and then comes dhyan, right? So how does this work? Like if you look at how asanas work, how pranayam works, it works on your central nervous system. So you have a sympathetic nervous system and you have a parasympathetic nervous system, right? So sympathetic, and both are important. One is fight or flight, right? So if you're in a situation, should you fight it or should you just leave? That is also important for your survival. But your parasympathetic nervous system is for you to rest and relax and restore. So, but because we have so much information, we are constantly in that fight or flight mode, which is what stress, which is why cortisol, which is why humans are so stressed. What asanas do, what breath work does, what meditation does, if you can meditate, it helps stimulate your parasympathetic nervous system. And the moment it is stimulated, what happens is immediately you become peaceful. When you become peaceful, then all the thoughts, those negative thoughts and all just die. So it is so simple that, whether you don't believe that yoga can make you calm and you just do asanas for how many ever years, you will become calm. You will start seeking out the more peaceful things in life. Because it works on your nervous system. Now in yoga, there is, what they call as the nadis. So there is the right and the left side. So it's all about balancing, your calm and your action-oriented work. So this is what yoga does. It helps you calm and create a balance in life, so that you don't overdo anything. It's great to be action-oriented and have a fantastic career and build something that is, build something that may say helps millions of users. That is amazing if you want to do that. But if you get attached to it and say that, if this doesn't happen, I will not, where will I go? That is stupidity, according to yoga. So you just do the work and you let things carry its course, right?
It's amazing. How a small action can, also control various emotions and actions.
Imagine that. It is so simple. It is just 3 yoga classes a week and 5 minutes of pranayam every day. And everything changes. At least for me, everything changed. So I know that it is such a powerful science that, in fact, even Harvard has published an article that, if you do 3 yoga classes every week, you don't have to have anti-anxiety medicine. It's such a big statement to make. It's such a huge statement to make. So, especially in this world.
It's clinically proven as well?
They would have researched it. That's why they published it. I didn't go to the depths of what that paper was about. But if Harvard has published it, then 100% they would have researched it. I'm not saying that it would be a huge sample size. But definitely yoga helps calm you down. And you don't really need to, depend on pills.
Yeah, absolutely. So, which is the best time in the day do you think one should practice?
The best time, according to me, it is sunrise or sunset. But the best time is when you have time. The thing is, right now, even I work US hours. And I'm a person who used to get up at 5 a.m. But that's not possible anymore, right? But I can't bog myself down saying that, oh, my yoga life is going to go for a 6. So the best time is when you have time. When the sun is up there, it's better. Empty stomach is much, much better, of course. If you do yoga on an empty stomach, it is much better than just having food. But again, all this depends on your metabolism, on your, everybody's body is different. So the best time is when you have the time.
What does your team size look like right now?
So right now we've just incorporated a month and a half ago. So we are a very small team right now. So I do have 10 to 15 teachers who we are working together in creating the best programs. But in terms of people who are full-time working with us, we're just 10 members right now, out of which 3 of us are co-founders.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And what is next? What are your plans of scaling up this product? And
No, we are, like I said, we are like we've not yet reached ground zero. We are like in a minus situation right now. So right now we're just building the right curriculum for different personality types. We're building products around non-asanas as well. So there is asanas and live asana classes, but there is also meditation, there's also anti-anxiety, there's also stress, sleeplessness, people around the world are creating products and calling them sleep stories. But if you really want to solve the sleeplessness problem, you have to do a little bit of work, that kind of a thing. So we are trying to get through products that will help people actually take charge of their own journey, and find that inner guru to help them. So we are, we are still just about to launch. We are on that cusp in which another 15-20 days we will launch and we will get students aboard and we'll start teaching them. But right now we are still in the creating and the MVP stage right now. In the future, if you ask me what I intend to do, me and my co-founders, we've spoken about this a lot, that we don't want it to just be reaching 100 million people practicing yoga on a YouTube kind of a place, because you're not really helping them form an habit. What we want to do is we want to reach 1 million people who are monthly subscribers and who will do the asana classes with us, who will do the meditation classes with us, etc., etc. And we can actually help change their lives, because if you change 1 million lives, you'll change people around them as well, So for us, it is not a huge mass product, but it is a monthly subscription product in which, and for this, because it is from India for the, for the Western audience, you will need a team in India, you will need a team in the US. So obviously all those expansion plans, etc. are there. So in India we have fantastic tech talent, performance marketing, all this talent lies here. Maybe a little bit of communication and branding in the US. These are the kind of organizations that we are looking at building.
Right. So we can't deny the elephant in the room, that is the pandemic. So what is your take on remote working, and how do you think if it's going to change your...
For me, remote working is not just my team, it's also yoga, right? So the thing is that even all the yoga classes moved from an in-person, real high energy fun class to an online class. And what I see is that so for certain aspects in your organization, it works beautifully. For example, in tech, I think it was just, everything, and people became much, much more productive in their output. But obviously we were all through a lockdown, so there were no distractions. So now when the lockdown is not there, whether remote will work or no is something that we'll talk about. But I think the world is truly changed, and I think that remote working is here and it will be there forever. It will be more of a hybrid kind of a situation in which you can come for your discussions, but as long as your organization is very is very focused on what the outcome is, and which is how it should be, and what your KPIs are, that is basically, it's really going to work according to me. And I have worked remotely, but there are teams which need a lot of coordination. Like when you ask me from a Shvasa perspective, there are teams like your video shoots with the teacher, etc., which is a part of the marketing team. Now that is something that needs a lot of coordination, so that obviously cannot happen remotely. I cannot just call a photographer and teachers and a cameraman and an editor in Delhi and say, acha, shoot that, because it's not going to be according to my brand. So for a lot of work, you will still need to continue meeting, planning, etc., just for work to happen faster. But for things like performance marketing, for example, it's working fantastically. I think, they know what they have to do. They know what the objectives are.
Right.
If you can plan it out, if you can plan the calls out in advance, it just makes everybody's life easier. But I still am a huge fan of meeting people, and so maybe a remote plus you meet once a week or once a month, or maybe once in 2 months or once a quarter on a trek seems to be a better method. I would love for that to happen in the world, actually.
Okay, I have one last question for you. So basically, there's a lot of us in this space who wants to get into fitness, who wants to get into yoga, but does not know how to start. Given our sedentary lifestyle, we often struggle between work, family, and workout, and kind of health is kind of our last priority that way. So what is your little tip towards those people who want to embark into this journey of fitness but do not know how to?
So it's actually pretty simple, because this has been if you've read Atomic Habits, the whole willpower is very, very it's not right. It is not as if because you have great willpower you will do it. Your environment plays a huge role. I may have great willpower and I will not have that ice cream. But if my son is having it every day, there will be that one day that I will have it. So it's not just about your willpower, it's about the environment as well. Right? So what I can say is that you cannot make massive changes in your life. Right? So if you want to start on your fitness journey, you have to just start it by twice a week. But you have to, in yoga, it's called a sankalp. So sankalp means that you make a promise to yourself that for the next 40 days or for the next 5 to 6 weeks, for 2 days every week, I will do this activity. And trust me, when you keep a finite view of it, and when you make that promise to yourself, you don't have to announce it to the world. Never announce it to the world. You will definitely do it. So this is called sankalp, and this is how I started, by the way, because I remember I made that sankalp to give away one bad habit to always say the truth was not definitely I've not yet taken that sankalp. It's an important one, but I will run 20 minutes every alternate day. So for me, my running journey started like that, and then I started running marathons. So it all starts with that first 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Yeah. So for a practice like yoga, 10-20 minutes doesn't really help. So you should say twice a week. So just take and say just 40 days or 90 days, whatever is it that suits you. So this is actually a very deep concept in advanced yoga, in which you get into mantra yoga. So you say that I will chant this mantra for 40 days, every day at this time. So you fix it as much as possible that, I will do this class from 7 to 8 a.m. on Monday and Wednesday. And you just do it. Then there's no question. It's called sankalp. You just have to, I'm not saying that I will run 1 hour every day. No. I will just do this for 20 minutes, or if it is cardio, or if it is yoga, just twice a week. And trust me, twice a week will become 3, it will become 4, you'll love it. There are people in my class like this. They are advanced teachers now. And they do 2 hours a day now. But obviously in 2-3 years. So you have to just take that one baby step.
Right. It is lovely talking to you, Arunima. I personally have gotten so much insights about yoga and the whole journey about mindfulness and how do you take control over your own life. I think this conversation can go on for hours and hours.
Yes.
I wish we could sit here and talk for more, but then time is a constraint, of course. So, thank you so much for making our time for us. We look forward to more such conversations in the future as well. So, and thank you so much. This looks definitely very, very inspiring, and I think I personally would want to subscribe and
absolutely. Thank you so much, Reema. It was a pleasure.